this is extra example number 4 from, still from section 7.2, planning for college. The superintendent of our school district, Ms. Bovee, wants to know what proportion of high school students in our district are planning to attend a 4-year college. Suppose the answer to this question is 80%. What's the probability that a simple random sample of 125 students will give a result within 7 percentage points of the true value? And this is leading into confidence intervals, which is our next chapter. So we want to state what we're trying to find here. So what we want to know is that if we took one sample, so that's why we use the notation p hat. We want to find the probability that p hat is within 7 percentage points of 80%. So between 0.73 and 0.87. So that's our problem. So in the plan part, that's typically where you're going to test your conditions for, in order to use the standard deviation and to use normal CDF, we need to make sure that the 10% conditions met and the normal conditions met. So that's what you're checking in the plan part. So so indeed, if we did the sampling distribution of p hat, if we did a bunch of them, it does follow a normal distribution. Follows a normal distribution because NP and N1 minus P. So I'll just do 125 times 80% and N1 minus P, 125 times 0.20, are both greater than equal to 10. So that would be the most concise way I could write that in a state plan do conclude. So I'm doing the normal condition first, and our standard deviation and 10% condition met. 10% condition met because there are definitely greater than 125 times 10 or 1,250 students in the school district. So when we take the sample of 125, we're okay. Students in the school district. So let's go ahead and calculate. We know the mean is already 0.80 that we're going to use in our on our calculator, but let's go ahead and compute the standard deviation now that we know we can use that equation. So the standard deviation we'll need for our calculation is P naught. So P is 80%, P naught is 20% over our sample size of 125. So we should get about 0.036. So that's the standard deviation. So on average, the values are 3.6% away from 80%. And since it follows a normal distribution, about 68% of the values are within 3%, but we want to know within 7%. So our answer should be a lot higher than 68%. So now we're ready to do. So all you have to do, you could draw a normal curve, or you can just write what you're doing on your calculator. You're going to use normal CDF and just label each of these. So you'll you give it the lower bound and the upper bound. So lower bound is what? Good, 0.73. Upper bound is, yep, is 0.87, and the mean of p hat is the same as the population mean, is 8.80, and the standard deviation we just computed. That's why we computed it. So if you type in those 4 numbers, you will get about 0.9481, and so you would conclude then, we have to go back to what we were asking. We were asking the probability that our sample would be within 7 percentage points of the true population parameter. So that probability is 95% chance, roughly. So there's about a 95% chance that will happen. Another way of saying that, I mean, you can word it however you want, But you could say about 95% of all samples of size 125 will give a sample proportion within 7% of the true population proportion. Will give a sample proportion within 7%, because the probability, that's what helps you compute probability, within 7% of true population proportion.